welcome back to Patch of the Week. We are patching the heck out of this thing. We've got our modular system, we got our NTS1, and we've got it all being driven by our SQ-64 sequencer. Once again, this is a song builder version, building that song that you heard in the beginning. So far, in episodes 1, 2, and 3, we tackled the arpeggiator, the bass line, and the chording sound coming from that module in the top left there. So for this episode, we're going to be modulating. That's right, we're going to be waking these sounds up even more with modulators. There are 3 available to us. I'm going to be splitting out one of them too to make it even more. The idea here is that the modulation output sends voltage to any point on the board that can be modulated, much like a knob on a synthesizer where you turn it 0 through full. You have a range of modulators that you could send on each step, and that will send that corresponding modulation, and that makes modulations happen. So we're going to use the first one, A. We're going to modulate into the filter that is controlling the bass, which is right here. So I'm going to set this to control voltage right here, and then we're going to take a look at the modulation grid. So on part A, we're going to hit modulation, and you can see these steps are lit differently. That's because each one carries a different modulation value. So if I hold this, you can see because it's pretty bright, it's on 127. If I back it down, it's going to go off. Everywhere in between, it grades the lighting to give me an idea of what I am sending. And when I'm all done there, I can basically press play and hear that modulation happen. So now, let's listen to the bass by itself, mute out the other parts, and now you'll hear it. You can see that right here as well, without modulation. Playing the notes, but not much else happening. Introducing modulation wakes it up in a different way. Let's do the same thing for the chord sound. Modulation B, I'm going to put into the warp. Warp does this. So I'm going to modulate that by putting it into the warp input. Playing around with the modulation. So here's the modulation. Okay, so this last modulation that we're going to do is going to control basically the wet dry on this reverb effect that we have, that chord sound coming through. So I'm going to use modulation C, okay, which is right now blank palette. And we're going to put that into the modulation control. And then without it, it's just going to do what it does. But once I actually insert some modulators in the right place,